Now, Boys from the Black Stuff was widely acclaimed BBC drama that documented the struggles of 5 out-of-work Liverpool lads in 1980's recession-hit Britain.
And now more than 40 years since it first aired. The award-winning series is heading for the West End following its stage adaptation. We're going to hear from the writer and stars in just a moment. But first, let's just have a look back to where it all began.
Name?
Christopher Todd.
Full name?
Christopher Robin Todd. It was me ma'am.
You're Graham Souness, aren't you?
Yeah?
I'm Yozza Hughes.
Pleased to meet you.
Have you got a job, Mr. Todd?
Oh, yeah, I just come here for the company and the pleasant surroundings.
You haven't answered the question.
I haven't worked in over a year.
Gives a job. Go on, gives it. Gives a go, go on. I could do that.
I'm desperate, Father.
Gives a job. Go on. Gives it. Go ahead.
A job?
Yeah, gives it. Go on, I know you've got one. Arthur told me.
Beam me up, Scotty. Beam me up.
Gives a job. Go on, gives a job.
That's the line, isn't it?
Classic.
Right there. We're
Absolute
joined now
classic.
by actors Barry Sloane and Nathan McMullen, along with playwright James Graham. Morning to you all. Lads, can I just say, well done for arriving in character.
Yeah,
Dead giveaway is the
they
facial
don't come
hair.
off, yeah. Make us keep them.
Barry, what's it like to play that iconic role?
It's incredible. It's a real honour. You know, I've referred to it as Scouse Shakespeare a good few times now, and yeah, to tell the story of our city this way is incredibly powerful. Yeah, loving it.
Written by Alan Bleasdale for the original TV series. I mean, what do you remember of it?
Well, I was born in 1981. So I missed it the first time round, but I was given I think a videotape of it about 1996, 97. Fell in love with it straight away, and I'd kind of like passed that on to everyone that I'd met subsequently. Like, you got to watch this. So when this came round to be a stage adaptation, I was like, yeah, count me in. I want to get involved in that. And
Nathan, what do you remember of watching it from when you were little?
Well, I didn't watch it until this year. I didn't watch it before the show that we done last year. Consciously, I didn't want to be influenced by anything that Michelangelo's done. So yeah, I watched it this year and loved it. Yeah, the first introduction I had to it was when I first met Alan Bleasdale about 10 years ago, was seeing his BAFTA, and I was like, oh wow, Boys from the Black Stuff. So yeah, 10 years later, here I am.
No pressure then?
Stage. Yeah.
It's interesting you're saying that, you know, you're too young obviously to watch it at the time, but as a series, it's just one of those titles, one of those series that just stayed with. It's part of Liverpool culture, UK culture, isn't it?
Yeah, it's iconic. It's something when we done in the Royal Court, we come out of stage door and constantly we were being told these stories by people who lived through that in the early 80s. Yeah.
What sort of stories would they tell you? What, you know, about the impact that it had at the time?
I think, you know, the city that was impacted by it was the city that we grew up into. But one of the best things, you know, I remember from growing up in Liverpool is you didn't realise it was going on until when you look back that you felt it. You know, we were kind of protected from that by our parents, really. You never kind of knew it was happening. So it's fascinating to watch back and see the strength that came out of the city, even from then, you know.
Yeah. So, James, a classic TV series. What's the challenge for you then as the writer, turning it into a stage adaptation?
Yeah, well, the original series was actually sort of 5 separate stories following each character in their own particular journey. So I think the challenge is how you make that sort of one single evening at the theatre. And to me, it's just, I mean, Alan Bleasdale is like, he's the Scouse Arthur Miller. These are big, epic stuff. It is about Liverpool, but it's also about the 1980s and the resonances today in terms of, yes, they were dealing with an unemployment crisis in the 80s, but I think the precarious nature of work and 0 hours contract and how work affects your sense of self and your identity and your dignity, I think we're all sort of feeling that a lot today. So you tap into that. But also it's about making it live, like the joy of having a live audience in a theatre. We just were at the National Theatre, we're going to the West End for 8 weeks. It just, you know, the humour of it, people seem to remember how tough that time was and this gritty piece of social realism, but it's actually just really, really funny. And having an audience there, like thousands of people laughing at these guys and the lines every night, it reminds you of the importance of getting a community together to watch a piece of theatre in the same room at the same time.
It's because we talk about it very seriously, don't we? But you forget at times it was really properly funny.
Hugely funny, and I think, I mean, I won't speak for these guys. These are the Liverpool, you know, the Rooney and Gerrard of British theatre over here. But, it's like, but they are.
Who's injured?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know, the gallows humour of these guys is almost what made them survive. Like, it was brutal. This thing that was done to a particular city at a particular time. These guys and these families were made to sort of turn in on each other, snitch on each other, and I think that humour and the way that Alan Bleasdale writes, almost like poetically, it's almost musical and lyrical. I think that is almost one of the reasons why they got through it, because they were able to express themselves.
And you've kept it in the 80s. You haven't updated it to the modern day.
No, I mean, I feel like it really is a product of its time. But I think weirdly, there's this rule in theatre: the more specific you make something culturally, the more sort of timeless it becomes. So set in '82, but as I say, the weirdness of the resonance. You know, we talk about themes today like levelling up and the North-South divide, and here it all is in one piece of beautiful landmark television put on stage that still just, it really, the way that audiences get moved by this story still, these men and how their dignity gets broken down by not being able to find a job. These guys want a job. They go every week to the dole office to get a job, but there's just nothing available for them.
How well do you think this is going to travel?
I think it's already. We've just finished a season at the National Theatre, and it's done incredibly well there. The responses were fantastic, and the best thing about it was, you know, this wasn't just a show that was popular and liked in Liverpool and like nobody else heard of it. It was a national phenomenon. People loved it. It resonates because, as James just alluded to, it wasn't just the city of Liverpool that this happened to. This happened right across all spectrums of society at that time, and you know, we all see ourselves in these characters. They're so beautifully drawn, and it's also, it tackles what really attracted me to the piece. Is it deals with mental health, male mental health specifically in this.
The fact that, you know, you're also very well known for another very successful play.
Yes, well, yes, this is Dear England, I assume, yeah,
yes.
It's about Gareth Southgate's transformation of the England football team.
And we're at a pivotal moment, aren't we, for Gareth Southgate?
Why, is something happening this week? I had no idea. I mean, yeah, it's...
Just wondering, would you know, are there more legs in that? Might that be developed, adapted, updated after the Euros for whatever happens next?
Yeah, no, definitely. So we're
happy ending?
Yeah. Well, I hope so. I'm not in control of that, unfortunately. But yeah, so luckily we're going to bring that play back after the West End run. We're actually just around the corner as well. We're going to bring it to Salford next year. So yeah, I've sort of promised that we're going to adapt the ending to it, to depend whatever happens. So no pressure, but.
And no waistcoats this time around, maybe?
No, like comfortable cardigans now is the vibe. I know, who knew? But yeah, I'm here for that. I don't know what Joseph Fiennes, who plays him, I'm not sure he's going to feel as dapper and dashing as in that, but we'll see. Yeah.
Maybe that's what they all need to do, just relax a bit more.
I think so, but I mean, I'm so, like, what Southgate has done, I think, to that team in terms of dealing, a bit like what Barry just said about Boys in the Black stuff, like dealing with men's mental health and identity and drilling down into the psychology of the pressure that these boys face. I think this is like a golden moment for us to possibly bring it home at last. I can't wait.
Oh.
No,
you just said it.
Too early, James. Too early. Congratulations. It looks fantastic. And how's your football? Are you up for that as well?
Oh, yeah.
OK. Good stuff. Boys from the Black stuff will be on at the Garrick Theatre in London from Thursday.